me, your brother, your friend, your man is speaking on the show. Guys, please, if you're just coming in, just give us some likes.
All the things when I did enjoy life for this place, the dress house.
Please just give us some likes and give us some likes, share the video, give us a lot of comments, give us feedback so we know if we're actually doing what you expect or we're actually going wrong. So just give us some likes. Taye Rose, good morning. Matthew Sibo, good morning. I salute you guys. Please just come and give us some likes, share the video. Let's go out and give people the word of freedom. Okay, guys, and just put some comment there so I know you are here, so I can easily mention your name. I should just come in, just say hi, say good morning, something like that, so people know you are there and we can easily just talk to you. Yeah, Chinedu, I greet you. Good morning, sir. I greet you all for coming to the show this morning. I appreciate you guys for always being here to actually give us, because you guys are the one that actually giving us this courage to do what we are doing. Without you guys being around, we can't do much, because if you are talking, there's nobody you are talking to, then you have some psychological problem that you need to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? But if you guys are here, it needs to give us the enthusiasm to continue doing what we are actually doing. So I want to say a big thank you to you guys for these wonderful privileges you've given up to us to always come around and share, our thoughts with you. So as I just come in, please just press the thumbs up button, give us some likes, and also give us some shares so we can share this word of freedom. Yeah, this morning, yesterday night, I was just flapping through the news page, on the social media space, and I saw something that I talked about in the early hour of yesterday. Those of you that followed me, I think Matthew Sibo was actually following me yesterday when I spoke about the oppress of the minority. Okay, I spoke about the oppress of the minority, why the dissolution of the country to the called Nigeria will be a mirage if these so-called major ethnic groups do not have to go down, to the people who they call the minority and have a negotiation with them. I was on that yesterday all through the time, and I said, in a nation, in a multi-ethnic nation like Nigeria, there is no minority, there is no majority. If you guys remember that, I was very emphatic, when I was making some statement that in a nation like Nigeria, there is no minority, neither there is any majority. We are all equal stakeholders in that country. And because that's where the problem we're having today actually begins from. Okay, that's where the problem started from the 1914 amalgamation constitution, where some group of people were tagged minority in a country where they are actually part and parcel of. Okay, so guys, just share this video. Please share this video. Let me just do my own. Let me try to share the video, guys. Just give me 1 minute as I go back to my Facebook and try to share the video. So while we're just doing that, please, you're just coming, just give us likes, and let's continue with the show. Thank you, everyone. Let me just try to share as much as I can to other, platforms, thank you guys for your patience. Okay, guys, I'm just trying to do this so we can send this word of freedom around. We need, the best possible way out of the logjam that Nigeria had found itself in today. Okay, I was there for 4 months, so I know what I'm really talking about. So I have seen the issue, and I know it's not even an issue that we cannot deal with as a people until we understand who we are and why we are together as a nation. One of the problems is we don't really know who we are. We don't really know why we are together. So that is actually giving rise to a lot of issues and problems here and there for us not to be able to find a very lasting solution to the very lasting solution to the menace that is actually eating up the country. Okay, guys. If we know who we are, we'll have little or no issues to deal with. Okay. Now when I was saying that yesterday, I never really knew. I never also knew that former President Olusegun Obasanjo was actually also having, an interview somewhere or putting up a column, on the same issue, but in his own way, he like reaffirmed what I said, but in a different way. Okay, he said that if Nigeria breaks up, the minority groups will be oppressed and exterminated. That was the title. If Nigeria breaks up, the minority group will be oppressed or they will be exterminated. And my worries came to being when I heard that. Now, I'm going to speak on that a little bit before I read what he actually said. Now, if you think in such a manner that the so-called minority group are powerless, are worthless, are inconsequential in a nation that it actually belongs to, this alone can trigger insecurity. This alone can trigger uprising against the so-called majority. This alone we draw a parallel line between the so-called minority and the so-called majority. This is where these political elites who have traveled wide and near would have understood the language and terminologies in this 21st century governance, that there is nothing like the minority nor the majority. The United States of America today has different ethnic nationalities, guys. They have different ethnic nationality from the beginning. The original owner of the land, they are still there. They are not in the minority, according to the Nigerian, political language. But in America's setting, there is no minority, neither there is any kind of majority. Everybody has a space that they occupied, and that space eventually gave them the right as part and parcel of the nation called Nigeria. Let me take you back. Now, we have what we call shareholders company, okay? A public limited liability company. Now, have you ever heard of the word minority in a public limited liability company? There is a minority shareholder. Every shareholder is a shareholder. It doesn't matter the quantity of shares that you have in the company, you have a say. You have a say. Particularly when your shares has actually helped the company to survive. So in a situation whereby people still use that terminology, that there are minority groups in Nigeria, I promise you guys, peace will elude us. Nobody, I repeat, nobody wants to be under anybody. Nobody wants to be called a, because do you know what the minority means? Minority means you are second class. Look at what he said. If Nigeria breaks up, the minority will be oppressed and exterminated. What a language! What a very myopic, streamlining of their thought against the so-called minority groups. How will a nation succeed when a former president, for that matter, has such a mindset that there is what is even called minority? I don't care about what he said, but the use of that terminology, minority alone, has already makes me to believe that there is something wrong with the Nigerian setting that we have to deal with. Development doesn't come to a nation when the people had this class issue like Nigeria does. There is a class issue in Nigeria today. We are blaming the Fulanis today. These utterances of people being minority, some being majority, is the result of the atrocity being committed by these guys. Because they feel, hear this now, the Fulanis feels they are in the minority in Nigeria. So they are doing everything humanly possible, inviting the Fulanis from other African and West African countries to come into Nigeria and give them the population that they needed to climb from the minority group into the majority. One of the issues you are getting today is a class war in Nigeria. And our leaders, our political leaders, our economical leaders, our traditional leaders, religious, whatever leaders, they're actually one of those who is actually creating this unnecessary war with their utterances that is not working according to the dictates of the 21st century. Governance. You don't call an ethnic group that have lived thousands of years before the emergency of a nation called Nigeria to be a minority in a land that God actually gave to them. It is preposterous. I used a scenario yesterday. There are people in some streets in Nigeria there. There are some landlords that have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 houses on a street or in a community. Okay? Whereas there are some that has one. But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how many houses you actually occupy in that street. We are all called landlords. We are all called landlords and landladies. So, if that is what it is, then why are we having a different mindset when it comes to the Nigerian government, calling the people that have existed years and years before the forceful amalgamation by the colonial masters to be minority. How can such a nation have peace when some group of people see themselves as the superior citizens of the nation called Nigeria? How can peace and tranquility be seen, in a nation where some people feel they are more superior, when the people see they are more relevant, when some people feel they are more important than other people, in a state that we are supposed to have equal rights? This is the genesis of the crisis. That's why Nigeria have never had peace since 1914, where they were forcefully joined together. But there's this idea, there's this meta consciousness of those people who do not have more than one or two states, to control under their ethnical tribe, were tagged minorities. And lest you forget, most of these so-called minority groups today are actually the fowl that actually lays the golden eggs, who take care of the so-called majority. We all listen, guys. I want to say the Apple family and the Oduduwa family, who are actually agitating for a separation, is a fantastic idea. But for this to work, we all must return back to the drawing board and understand where we are going as a people. The idea of the minority must be taken away from the mindset of our generation if peace and tranquility will return back to Nigeria. If even we decide to go our separate ways tomorrow, without this consciousness, it's not be taken away. Without this mindset, this very, very awkward, barbaric mindset not taken away, we are going to have an issue with Nigeria. Let me shock you guys. In Finland, those of you that live in Finland, you know that there is a Swedish Finnish people. They are very small. They are in part of the city or the community called Abo. They are very minute. During the time when they were sharing the entire Scandinavia, this part we actually added to the Finnish nation. But these guys are not treated. They have equal rights. As the people, the ones who actually speak, who are actually the original Finnish people. The same thing with Switzerland. The same thing with United Kingdom. The same thing with the United States of America. In every nation of the world, there are groups who are actually of the lower population. I'm not going to call them minority right now. Of the lower population living among the people. But these guys aren't treated as if they are second-class citizens. Just the way some people are putting it to be. Does Obasanjo know if these so-called minority groups today are more sophisticated in terms of weaponry than the so-called majority? The war of today is not about numbers. It's about technology. The war of today is no more about numbers. The war is about technology know-how. So you can't tell how much of technology know-how this group of people you call minority that will be exterminated, that will be oppressed, actually have within their power. Now let me also shock you guys. It's easy and pure. If you check the Nigeria setting today, the so-called minority are in the majority. It will shock you to understand that you will have over 250 ethnic groups or thereabout in Nigerian state. Out of that 250 ethnic groups, we have three major ethnic groups: the Wasobia, the outside, the Igbos, and the Yorubas. So it means the minority, what they call minority ethnic groups, actually own the largest number of people in Nigeria. I don't know if somebody's getting what I'm saying right now. The three major ethnic groups today are just free from 200 and something ethnic groups. That inevitably means the so-called minority are actually in the majority. But what do? They operate this level of divide and rule using religion. Religion as a tool to tear these people apart in order for them to continually oppress them. Like I said before in my video yesterday and the day before yesterday, that the British government taught these people, these criminals in power, the divide and rule system. They use a very tactical system to go to your back, destroy your brother to you, then you, in return, attack your brother. They create unnecessary lifeline enmity between both of you. Then you will never speak to each other again. They will take advantage of that. They will be at the middle, pumping the ember of war. This is what they are doing today in Nigeria. And those of us who they claim to be minority is becoming wiser by the day, saying no, enough of this name tag. The Benin kingdom had lived over 2,000 years. We have had leaders, uninterrupted leaders, from the onset, from the time of the Ogisos to the time of the administrators, the Ogiames, and to the time of the Obas. Despite the breakage between the Ogisos and the Oba dynasty in Benin, there was no vacancy. They created, some kind of power system to not help in controlling the affair of the old Benin Empire. The Benin Kingdom that I know, that's where I come from, has actually outlived the Nigerian state of today. They are the longest existing monarchical system of government in the world. Then you call such a nation a minority because they have just one state in which they actually occupy. How does that make sense? The word minority there would have also gone into the psyche of the people, that even these people would not be given the right opportunity they need to get in order for them to contribute to the development of the nation called Nigeria. So this is where we are today. Guys, we need to wake up from our slumber. Dividing Nigeria will be a mirage if we refuse to address issues relating to minority and the so-called majority in a nation where we all are supposed to be stakeholders. Anybody can say whatever they want to say, but the truth of the matter is what I'm putting before you today. I am for a better Nigeria. I am for, if Nigeria cannot work, we go our separate ways. I am for two. But one thing they call the minority, are asking is, how can I be a minority in my ancestral land? No wonder Femi Adesina said something on channel television during the massacre of the Benue people. He said, if you want to live, give your land. Make a choice, either your land or your life. Because why? They feel the thief people were actually minority, so they were worthless in the political and geographical equation of Nigeria. So they can overrun them at any time. And our brothers in power, they keep quiet, allowing them to be oppressed. I want to call on the so-called minority today, the Jaws, the Shekaris. the Robos, the Bibios, the Asians, the Benins, the Afemas, the Akoko Edos, what's it called? Just name them. Just name all of them. You know, the thieves, you know, the Nupes and all that and that. The Canaries in the north, who have been oppressed as a result of this new, you know, political language being used in destroying us mentally, giving us a sense of not belonging, giving us a sense of not having, you know, the right to even talk when the three superpowers are speaking. Any nation, go check where there is war in the world today. It is because some people allocated the name world superpowers to themselves. That is what is actually bringing about strife and unsettlement in the global face of the world today. You see Iran trying to become a world superpower. You see China trying to become a world superpower. You speak Japan and other, they are all springing up. Why? Because they feel being a world superpower, you are not going to be oppressed. It's making the world not to be at peace. You can't have Nigerian superpowers in Nigeria and expect peace to actually reign. It is impossible. Those ones you call minority will continually create a system that will make them relevant in the scheme of things. Look at what President what's it called? Olusegun Obasanjo said. Say former President Obasanjo has painted an ugly scenario of what will happen to minority ethnic group if Nigeria disintegrates. Obasanjo said the minority oppressed and exterminated if Nigeria breaks up. When I read this, I would have come out around 10 yesterday night, because that's when I saw this news. And I'll be out around 10 because I was so pissed off when I had the news. I had the news, something different I wanted to have talked about it today. But when I saw this news late in it, I was like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? You want peace, yet your languages does not call for peace. I can't sit down and watch someone calling my own ancestral land like a slave. That's what it meant. That we are going to be oppressed means we do not have a say. We are inconsequential. They are going to exterminate us. Do you know what called extermination? They are going to kill us. They are going to wipe us out from the new countries. As if we do not have a say on where we are going to join. As if we do not have a say of wanting to become a nation of our own. So, if these guys really want to have the nation that they so much desire, they should begin to respect those of us who are on the minority group, according to them. Because I am not a minority. My kingdom was one of the biggest kingdoms in the history of the world. Here we don't believe in oppressing people. We believe in giving people the freedom to live their lives. The Benin kingdom would have grown to the point even to Ghana, to Benin Republic, through the cold Atlantic, down to the east. They were all under the old Benin Empire. But one thing the Benin kingdom never did was to to oppress people. When the Benin people go on conquest, when they win a war, they don't superimpose their families. That's what the king never does. They don't superimpose their family on the people. What they do is they just only go there and they put one of the people there who are loyal to the. So that was today, all the areas where the so-called Republic of Benin, it was called dichotomy. It was when they were got independent, they went to Benin to beg the ObJ of Benin to allow them to continue to use that name Benin in reference to the long relationship between the Benin Empire and the dichotomy people. On the other hand, the Usman Dan Fodio government, brother, good morning, sir. When they came in, they superimposed their religion, their culture, their tradition, and even everything concerning them, dressing, eating, everything on the Hausas and the Kanoris that they met in the north. It happens. Yeah, Abbas, good morning, sir. No one don't met me. I went to Nigeria to go and relax more. That was why. So the network was not too good there, so I could not actually do so much. But I'm back now to deal with some issues that I need to deal with, guys. You guys know me. When I come with something that is not easy to talk about, but I'm able to disguagua it as a FA will normally talk. So you say we need to disguagua. So I want to disguagua this minority issue that is really getting me pissed off. You know, there's no minority in Nigeria. We are all equal stakeholders. The Niger Delta feed the entire world today. These are the ones they call minority. What the heck? Okay. The population of Nigeria today, the minority group has more population than the majority. Go check it out. So we all must begin to see equality as the only way out. If we must have that very particular, Nigeria that we dream of, we must all start waking up. If you are from the east, if you are from the west, if you are from the north, we must grow out of this mentality that some people are second class or third class citizens in their country. Let me also shock guys. Listen, guys, I'm pissed off. That's the truth of the matter. I'm pissed off. The Igbos today, the Igbos, not the Easterners, because Easterners have in there. The Igbo ethnic group today are actually angry with the Nigerians. What brought the Igbo nation? Correct, guys? You know, true. After the 1966 to 1970, coup and civil war, or known as the Biafra War, the Igbos felt they have not been recognized, that they have not been forgiven, that they have not been integrated into the Nigerian state by the powers that be. That was what sprang Nnamdi Kanu and the ObJ in defending their father's land, and I give them an applaud for that. So today, they are crying for being marginalized, and we, the so-called minority, from 1914 till today, 107 years of existence, we have been marginalized. I'm not talking as an adult man, I'm talking on behalf of all the so-called minority group in Nigeria. I want us to wake up. From 1914 till today, 177 years of our existence, we, the minority, have been marginalized. We have been deprived. President Goodluck Jonathan's presidency was an accidental presidency. I can bet my life for it. They will never have given the minority the chance to be a president. Check the North today. Anytime power rotation goes to the North, it is the majority people that always take over power, not the minority, as they claim. So what is that? That is called the highest level of marginalization of these people. They so much kept us, that we today feel we are insignificant in a nation that we actually feed. If the Igbos will get angry just 50 or 51 years after the Civil War, then we, the so-called minority, will be outraged after 107 years of oppression. If the Yorubas, the Oduduwa nation feels today, they are being relegated to the background in a nation whereby they're supposed to have equal rights. How do you expect us, the so-called minority, by this group of people who have been exterminated according to ObJ, oppressed according to ObJ, in the last 107 years? If the Fulanis, who have been in the corridor of power since the inception, have been marginalized, they have been oppressed, what should we, a so-called minority, according to where our lives have been taken from us in the easiest, fastest way? So when you talk about the majority and you talk about the minority, how do you expect us, who we believe according to your definition of a majority and minority, to sit down and be happy? You see, today, we the minorities, particularly in the southern part of Nigeria, if there's had to be a breakup, we are going on our own. Because there we're going to have equity and justice. Because the tribes there, there's no super imposed ethnic group on any other. If we want to live as a nation together also, we must come to a round table talk and take away that heading, that stigmatization of minority versus majority. That's why I said yesterday in my video that one of the greatest problems we have today is Queen Elizabeth and her kingdom, the United Kingdom. They purposely created this business empire called Nigeria to fail. Yes, guys, they purposely created this business empire Nigeria to fail. That's one reason why I will never live. I can visit the United Kingdom, but I will never live in the United Kingdom. If the United Kingdom is the last place on earth to live in, I will return back to Nigeria. I rather live in that air Nigeria than live in that nation that actually brought us to where we are today. We almost grew up, guys. They understood what they were doing. They saw the industrialization powers of the nations that made up Nigeria from the beginning. Guys, They went to Opobo, the Joshekiri. They saw what they were doing. They came to the Benin Kingdom. They were marveled at the acts and things that were actually happening in that kingdom. They went to every part of the South. They saw the industrialization, technology that was operating. Do you know, around the 14th century, a king in Benin was a sailor. He actually died in the sea while sailing. This was where even the white people does not even understood what sailing is all about, guys. So they knew, but what would they do in order to make sure that Africa, the black people, whom they have so much enslaved over the years, never rise up against them? They decided to merge beds of different fellows together. They knew from the beginning that the north and the south of Nigeria can never coexist. If you ask me, what I'm going to tell you why today. They knew that. That was why in the north they had indirect rule. They had a direct rule. In the south they had an indirect rule. So they understood that these two people do not think alike. They understood that these two people do not have the same mindset of operation. They knew. But they wanted the nation Nigeria to fail. These idiots that we wrote in hell, Lord Lugard, knew that. He did the same thing in India. Go check India. Until India separated, the Sri Lanka, the Pakistan, and the India became independent nations. That was where India began to develop, guys. This same thing that they did in Nigeria today, that this idiot and his stupid wife did in Nigeria, they did it in India. And for years upon years, for decades, the Pakistan, the Sri Lankas, and the Indians were always at war with each other. So if people like ObJ and co are saying, trying to use the minority mentality to keep this evil contraction, unworkable contraction together, then I don't know what to say. They forgot that minority also can also be together and go on their own separate ways and create a constitution that will favor every one of them. So that's why I'm calling today. Yes, Nigeria should break if need be. The Niger Delta will go on their own. I'm very sure the Benin Kingdom want to be on their own also. They would rather join the Niger Delta or having the Bender, which is the new Edo Delta. The minority should stay on their own, while the so-called majority should stay on their own, so that then we can have peace, equality, and transparency. So we will be on the minority will be on their own. Let the majority actually remain on their own. No human being on earth will use such a statement, and our political leaders in the so-called minority area will keep quiet and clap for him. And he will say he has said something very nice. For even saying that alone, he has provoked the ancestors of this so-called minority group. He has part on the contribution of these people. He actually forgot forgot that this so-called minority today, they were actually the people that fought toothlessly for the emancipation of the Nigerian people from the colonial masters. Let me go and read history. The Oba of Benin there. Let me go back to history. Oba Akenswa the second. Let me return back to history. Chief Anthony Naro, the other Lord Romy. These are people and many other minority groups from the Middle Belts, from the Joland, and all they fought. They were actually people that were actually at the forefront. But their names were omitted by this same group of British people. They were giving credence just to 3 persons in the struggle for the independence of Nigeria. And the major of these 3 persons are actually picked from the 3 major, according to them, ethnic nationality that make up the confederation called Nigeria. So the problem of this nation today cannot be resolved until the 1914 amalgamation is retreated by the people that believes in this confederation called One Nigeria. Okay? Look at this. Abajo said the minority group will be oppressed and exterminated if Nigeria breaks up. The elder statesman said those calling for secession are insensitive to the plight of the minority groups. You see the way they are. Oh God. Listen, guys, you guys will not understand how I feel right now. Let me read that again. I'm going to explain that. I said the elder statesman said those calling for secession are insensitive to the plight of the minority group. ObJ, sir, let me tell you this. We have been oppressed from 1914 till today. 107 years we've been under the bondage of oppression. Okay, sir. We'll be under the bondage of oppression from the beginning. So, the idea of saying they are not looking at our plight have been there. We have been crying from the beginning. How many minority have actually become the chief of defense staff? So the idea of you trying to bet us as if you are trying to protect us, bros. We don't need sympathy as a people. We are not docile. We are not redundant. We are not dummies. The so-called minority are actually the intellectual, hallmark of the Nigerian state. Okay? In Nigeria today, one of the most traveled people on earth from the beginning of history, again, are the Edos. Go check it. The Prince of Benin was the first to have traveled outside the soil of the African state or African nation to Portuguese to study. The Benin Kingdom was also the first kingdom, the first nation in the whole of Africa to have an embassy in the city of Portuguese. So we actually know where we are, we know who we are, we know where we are coming from as a minority. Look at the history today, the Jaja for Pobo, the environment embassy of Benin Kingdom, and many others have been held along the history line before the construction came. We fought a war against the British imperialism. We fought a war against the British Empire. We fought a war against them. As a nation, what you call minority today, it was not easy for the British to come to Benin and take over the land the way they did in many of the majority nations today in Nigeria. Please guys, I'm using Benin as an example because that's where I come from. So I have my history at the back of my head. So that's why I'm always repeating that. Okay guys? I'm not saying the other minority groups, I'm using Benin now as a case study for other minority groups that we actually did a lot during our time. It took the British Empire days and weeks, even with their superpower ammunition that they had, the guns, the grenades and all that and that, to defeat the so-called primitive Benin Empire. These are the people you call a minority. Go to the museum in London, go to the museum in Germany, in Paris, in the United Kingdom. You're going to see the artifacts that was created thousands of years back by these so-called minority groups, which is being stocked all around the world. And people are making billions of dollars from it yearly by the country that have held it hostage when they invaded Benin in 1897. You call a nation where even they are being studied in Harvard, in Oxford, and many of the top universities all over the world. You call it people who actually had the largest, biggest, handmade heads on heads. Who, as at a certain time, the city of Benin had been lit up with light and rose even before that of the Great Britain and Paris. Because you decided on your own to turn these great people into minority in order for you to oppress them. The Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, Nigerian former president, had condemned the call for the minority for the nation breakup by some ethnic advocates. The former president described call for Nigerian breakup as unmindful and insensitive to the plight of the minority group in the country. That's what actually gets me pissed off. What has minority group done to do it? People calling for breakup. Let me say something here very clearly. The first set of people that actually called for breakup in Nigerian history during the 1966 after the coup, before the civil war, was the Niger Delta Republic, not even Biafra. The first set of people, I repeat, that called for independence from the state called Nigeria was the Niger Delta Republic by Adakaboro. So the entire minority within the Niger Delta, the then eastern region, came together and said, no, we are being oppressed. We want to go our own separate ways. History watered that down because it was actually from the minority group. The minority people were killed during that uprising. Yes, our people were killed during that uprising by the Eastern government. But this is the 21st century. That is why you see the minority, the so-called minorities are not speaking today. We are not joining in the agitation, not because we don't actually want to have a better Nigeria. We do. It is the mindset of people like Passenger that's making many of us to be on the fence. Because this same mindset that Passenger has, so many of the people in the east, in the west, in the north had the same mentality. That when the war starts, the people they're going to face first, that what he's telling us now, are the minorities. You guys should wake up. What ObJ is saying here now, that when the war begins tomorrow, there's people that they are going to fight with first, even before they fight themselves, is to exterminate, oppress, and put the minority under cage so that they will not be able to get their own self-dependency. Because if not, I don't know what an agitation by the Yorubas for Juduwa or by the Igbos for Biafra had to do with the oppressing and the extermination of the minority group. It's about telling us that the three major ethnic groups, the Wazobia, have an agenda that the minority can never have, is self-independent. Is it saying the mind of its people, of its colonies, that we, the minority, will not have a say of where we want to belong? That's what he's telling us now. That they are going to kill us. They are going to oppress us. They are going to destroy us. They are going to exterminate. You know what is extermination? Extermination is not massacre. Extermination is the highest grade of genocide. We have killing. We have massacre. We have genocide. We have extermination. That they will clear us from the surface of the earth if we refused to follow their lead. That's what the pastor is saying, guys. A statement sent on Wednesday, May 5th, by his media aide, Kainde Akinyemi, indicates that Ambassador made the observation when he received the TV professional group from Benue State who paid him a courtesy visit in Abeokuta. The former president expressed worries over what would become of the minority group if the major tribe, such as Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, decide to succeed and begin to operate as separate countries. What had that got to do with us? Do you see that these guys are just oh God? Do you see that? They're just saying that we are inconsequent. This is a former president. Look at the mindset of a former leader of a country. Look at the mindset of a former leader of a nation. But thank God, in 1963, thank God, that there was a referendum by the then Western region that gave birth to what we call the Midwestern region today, which translated to become the Bendel, which today is Edo and Delta. So from the history, from the constitution that are actually giving birth to this fake contraction called Nigeria, we have 4 provinces or 4 regions before the intervention of the military in January 15, 1966. And the regions are the northern region, the western region, the eastern region, and the midwestern region. So I do not know if others are ready to accept what this guy is saying today. I want to say to President President Olusegun Obasanjo that Edo, Delta, the Bendel, the Midwest region, by the Constitution of 1963, by the referendum that was conducted, that took us away from the Western region. We have never been under any other region until the military intervention that destroyed the status quo of the nation called Nigeria. It has been there. So that's why I'm very, very optimistic that there is something sinister over this whole idea of minority have no say. It is only in Nigeria they will tell you minority have their say, but majority have their way. But when it comes to human life and ancestral homes, everybody is a majority. You are a majority in your domain. I have my own land. If I come to your country and dwell among your people, I am a minority because I am not from there. I am a foreigner. But where I live in my own land, I am the owner of the land. It is my ancestral inheritance. So this idea of majority or whatever should be cleared away from the minds of these criminals who have continually used this divide and rule system to destroy the fabric of the unity that actually banded the minority together. Go look history, guys. You guys go back. The Shakiri, the Jos, the Benin's have been one indivisible nation from beginning. They work hand in hand. How do you think that the British people decided to take Obafemi to Calabar? Are you starting to think of that? How do you think that the Calabar people treated Obafemi as a king until his demise? Even when the British said he was dethroned, but they still respect him as the king of the great Benin Empire because it was a collaboration. How do you think when the Oba died in Calabar that the Calabar people gave Obafemi a well, articulated burial? How do you think when the Dane, the son, the prince of the Benin Kingdom decided to go and return the remains of his father to Benin Kingdom, the Calabar people also supported him. They praised him when he came into their territory, singing praises of the great Benin Kingdom. Because these people, this group of entity today called minority have been together. They have something in common. It was the British that actually came and brought the divide and rule system within these brothers who live within the savannah. The Jos were fishermen, so they live within the riverine area. The Benin were farmers, so they live in the upland. That's how they created, their nations in those days. Why have the Ijos not fought the Benin's when they were going through their rivers to fight war in other parts of the world? Why? Have you started to ask why? Why were the Ijos, the Shekiris, and others were paying homage to the Benin without not having any issue until the coming of the white men who said, no, you can't do this anymore. They destroyed these brothers. They tore them apart. Because they knew the unity of these people, of this group of people called minority today. They knew these guys were so intellectually sound. Guys, go check. I'm not joking right now. Go check. This is the first time in the history of the Secret Kingdom that we're having issues with the kingship of the Olofori. The first time. And do you know why? Because the West, the Oni of Ife, decided to interfere in the already existing status quo of the Secret people. That brought the uprise that you have today in Warri Kingdom. Before now, the Shekiri Kingdom, the Ijo Kingdom, and every other kingdom within the Biblios, the Abo, their kingdom is nearly the way the Benin Kingdom is structured. It is hereditary, some kind of. Without no politics, when it comes to that institution that was created thousands of years ago. How will you call us minority? Whereby the kingdom of Benin, the Ijo kingdom, the Shekiri kingdom, and other kingdoms, around the world, around the savannah today. There's no power tussle, just the way it happens in the north, or the way it happens in the east, or the way it happens in the west. Before a king dies in Benin, they already know the next in line. That's the same thing with many of the other, kingdoms within the territory of the Niger Delta, they call the minority. Guys, if a man like former President Olusegun Obasanjo will make such an utterance, shows his level of myopicness. So they are actually the problem of Nigeria. They should believe, they should take away that minority-majority concept from their brain. If there will be peace in this nation called Nigeria. You can continually call us names in a nation whereby we have equal rights. Look at what he wrote. Look at what this guy wrote. Look at his words. I'm going to read his words for you. He said, if the Yoruba can stand as a country, if the Igbos and the Hausas can stand as separate countries, where do we want the minority groups to be? Can you believe that? Guys, can you believe that? So we cannot stand as a country. We can't stand as a country. That's what they believe. That's what they believe. So now, by the virtue of the present situation, they are a little bit protected. Who told you? We have never been protected as far as the Nigerian state is concerned. We have never been protected. We, the minority, since 1914, have been treated as a nobody. And let me also shock you guys. If you're a Benin man, hear this clearly from me. The idea of the Benin Kingdom not being part of the equation of the power that be in Nigeria as of today is as a result of the 1897 war, the Benin invasion of the British. I can emphatically, I can categorically tell you that the British government today aren't happy that a barbaric, according to them, nation, an underdeveloped nation could hold them to a war for that long. We also knew that the British never won the war. The Benin's sold out, where Asoro, the great warrior, was captured. So when they came in order to pay them back for even daring, to stand against their conquest mission, they therefore made them redundant and brought them to the level of a third-class citizen in Nigeria in order to teach them a very valuable lesson that power belongs to the British at that time. So when people like Obasanjo begins to talk today, they should not forget, when it comes to leadership and developmental powers, the minority is always at the peak. There have never been power tussle in Benin Kingdom except during the time of Prince Kaladeran, who later became Izodua, who was now called Oduduwa, who became the progenitor of the royal family of the West. Was, sent to be executed. And the father of Gisowodo died without no child. Then there was a gap that eventually brought in the Okiames family of today to become an administrator in Benin Kingdom. So that was where we only have. Now, the tussle now was not between the same family. The tussle now was not between an administrative family and the royal family. When Oromiya would later give birth to Obaiweka the first. From the time of Obaiweka the first till today, there have been a small transition of power from one government to another. Can somebody tell me, even in the West, in the North, or in the East, that has such a small transition? I already know the next king of my kingdom. If the present one joins his ancestors at the right time, by the gods and by the ancestors. I already know the king after the next king, if peradventure he climbed into the ancestral throne of his father and stayed there for as many years as he could and become old and decided to join his ancestors, I already know the king after him. So right now I am very certain that the dynasty of the Benin in the next maybe 30, 40, 50, 60 years, it's already known to me, even when I'm not going to be alive when this is going to happen. If what you call minority group can have such a well-planned, articulated, ancestral, taking over of government, and it has never failed, neither had the people rose up against it and object it. I think people like this are people that are supposed to be brought into power to teach us how to actually govern the people in the right manner. It is only in Edo today that this happened in the African continent. Go to Britain, go to United Kingdom, go to Spain. It is the same traditional system. The head there, they have the eldest, not the male child. They have the eldest. But in Edo, we have the male child. Even when the eldest is a woman, she gives way to the male child to take the leadership of his ancestral fathers. Without no form. No form of problem within them. And you say these guys are inconsequential. ObJ expressed the need for the Nigerian leaders to be mindful of Nigerian ethnic diversity, just as he added that the country would not make any meaningful progress without such consideration. He also expressed hope that the rough time the nation was going through would not last forever. The elder statement urged Nigerians to be patient with the country gathered a goodwill and move in the right direction. Now look at it. Thank God. I'm going to read some comments for you. Somebody wrote from the job. Abibia Awoju commented on Facebook, and I read: the Ijaw numbering between 8 million and 10 million are not a minority. Ibibians and Efik numbering more than 6.5 million are also majority group. How do you exterminate them in their own geographical space? ObJ should say another thing. The people who will be at great risk are the northern minorities. Now, look at another one again. He said, one Idoku, Aruna, said, minority tribes were in existence and living as independent kingdoms before the creation of Nigeria. What is difficult in Igala, Tiv, Jonkun, Ibira, etc. coming together as a nation? Some country population are not even up to Kogi state. This one is from Kogi. Another one Oladipo David said, they can also stand alone. Nigeria can be divided into 6, and many African nations will not be up to any of them. After all, Gambia population is not more than 2.7 million. One other guy, McPhil first said, in the so-called First United Nigeria, are the minority group enjoying? Are they having fun? Are they not more exterminated presently? So, you see, these are reactions that came from people from that very, very stupid statement from this guy. We are not minority. We have majority in our own right. Every ethnic group in Nigeria is a majority in its own right. Listen, guys, let me tell you something. Let me shock you. Do you know, before the coming of the white people, the Ishans and the Benis, the Afemas, the Shekiris, the Robos, even up to Bayelsa, Rivers, they're all one nation. Just go back and put them in. They're all one nation, living together. It was these idiots in Britain. That's why I will never stay there. Never. The problem of Africa today is caused by those people. I won't stay there. I can go there, maybe just go there to visit, maybe family or friends. But for me to go and take my bags and live in that nation, I will never. They created animosity among these families. I can tell you categorically clear, guys. They created this animosity among families that teared this family apart and turned it to minority, whereby they're supposed to be the majority. And that as it is, we are living in a 21st century world whereby nobody should be tagged a minority in a nation that they actually contribute to. Just like man will marry 5 wives, 6 wives. We'll say the first wife now be wife, the other one na concubine. Guys, a man married 5 wives or 6 wives. We'll say the first wife he married is the real wife, the other one a concubine. How does that sound? How does that sound? That is what they are saying to us. They forcefully married us to this contraction called Nigeria. Now they are saying we have no right. They dragged us joining this very contraction by force. They invaded us in Benin Kingdom because they wanted us to be part of it. Our king said, no, we are a kingdom far to the east, west, and beyond. They came in order because they knew quite all right that the time they came into Benin, it was not acceptable for anybody to come into the kingdom of Benin because of the Igwe festival that was on in those days. They knew, they were told, go back, return back. They said, we are not going. Because they already had an agenda. They forced themselves into the kingdom, which led to the extermination of these people, because then it was a taboo for a foreigner to be seen in the land of Benin. They knew that the Benin people were going to kill them. They knew it was all a set up, planned, executed by this evil contraction called Britain. Because then they were already planning bringing this idiot called Lolugat. They already planned to bring him to Nigeria to join together these two business empire. Listen, do you know today? Go read history. Because many of you don't read. They did not put Nigeria together as a nation. Before now, the South Protectorate belonged to the Niger Delta. The Niger, there was a company there that was taking care of the South. There was a company that was taking care of the North. Now, when slave trade was abolished in the 18th century, in the 19th century, yeah. When slave trade was abolished in the 19th century, what did they do? They needed, for administrative conveniences, they knew that the North was not productive. They were not making so much from the North. So the British government were having problem they were sending money from Britain to feed the North, actually. But the guys who were in the South were making so much money from this. The company that was in the South was making so much money from the South. So for business convenience, administrative convenience, they said, if we join the South to the North, then the money from the South can be used in taking care of the North. So this today parasitic nature Only the South, the minority as they claim today, have been there from the beginning, from the time immemorial. They've been there from time immemorial. That gave rise to that very particular. Sorry, guys, I need to plug this thing before it goes off. Just 1 minute, guys. That's what I'm saying at Jacob B. Let us have a referendum. Don't forcefully tell us we cannot be on our own. Let them bring a referendum down. Want to be with the North, the Arewa, the Oduduwa, the Biafras, and if you want to be alone as a minority, let them put up a referendum. Let's see where we belong. Because they know, that's what Pastor is saying, they are ready to kill us, rather than allowing us to go. What Pastor said is, they are ready to kill the minority, rather than allowing them to go. Okay, guys. Oh. Now let me just read this one. I'm already tired. Let me read this one and go and take some break. Maybe I'll come back in the evening to deal, because I had a lot of things I was supposed to deal with today. So maybe I'm going to come back in the evening to deal with the other part. But let me just deal with this part. Then we go for a break today. We will not be part of anybody. We will not be part of anybody. Either we have the Midwest region, or we have nothing, or we have then they do go on their own. Sir, I want you guys to go and check again. From 1963, between 1963 and 1970, between 1963 and 1970, we will have the Midwest region. It was also only in the Midwest region that they have 2 capitals. Go check. It was only in the Midwest region that they have 2 major capitals: the Benin and Warri. And this is I'm talking about under democratic setting now, not before independence. Because we believed in truth governance. We believe in equity, justice, fairness. That's what the Beninese are known for. We hate oppression because we don't oppress people. That's why people come to our land and even oppress us in our own land. It has been there from our ancestors. If the Beninese was thinking, if the Benin were thinking the way the North were thinking, if the Benin were thinking the way the West were thinking during the time, the old ancient days, half of Nigeria today would have been speaking Benin language. Even up to Benin, up to Volta region, down to the east to Onitsha, down after the Atlantic. But they never did that. They believe in equity, equality. We are all human. Because it was only in Benin also that our people were never sold into slave. It was a taboo. We sell other people as a slave, but a Benin man can never be sold as a slave in his own land. It was a taboo. It was an abomination. that's the level we went. Okay, guys? So let's leave that for another day. You know? Let's leave that for another day. The idea of minority by these people is creating more problem for them to get what they want from the Nigerian state of today. Until they begin to respect us, we will not do the biddings that they expect from us. So before the massacre, Chronicles of the Evil by Fulanis towards indigenous people of Nigeria by Moses Oludele Idowu. I want to just listen as I read through. If there's a need for me to analyze, I do some analysis, guys. Thank you all. I appreciate you. You know, I've been away. I many people have forgotten me. You know, and for today, I begin to see the view is increasing by the days. You know, and I'm really appreciative to you guys. You know, I went home, you know, to start up something for myself. Like I said, I want to go back home and support the government that I actually supported to come to power. So I need to do the talking and also go and do the doing. Let me not just talk the talk, let me do the talk. So I went back home to do something, which in the next few months, when I go back home again, I'm going to start unveiling what I've been doing and how much I'm also trying to contribute to the development of the state economically and otherwise. So because of that, I was so busy, no time, you know, because you know in Nigeria that you don't actually give, people don't give people everything. If you give it to them, they're going to run it, you know, down before you know it. So I was actually on my toe 24 hours of the day. Thank you, Jacob B. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. God bless you. I really appreciate you guys. So if you are coming for the first time to NAIJA, please just subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are watching me on Facebook, please just follow me on Matter Rising with Humanist TV, or just follow me on ADM Steven. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Now let's go to this. In the last 2 weeks, certain important information have been released to public domain of weighty and momentous significance. Let me remind you of the most important ones. The House of Representatives member representing some local government in Plateau State informed the whole world that 55 communities in his area are now under the occupation by Fulani mercenaries from outside the country, and that his people are now refugees in IDP camps. Only the Nigerian Tribune carried this story. No other newspaper considered it worthy to feature. Minority extermination. Minority oppression, according to Olusegun Obasanjo. About 2 weeks ago, something happened in Enugu State that is ominous. State government officials with court beliefs and police and soldiers went to a market near government house to force them to relocate in accordance with the order of the court of judgment, the court of competent jurisdiction. The Hausa Malams and marketers brought out their AK-47 in Enugu. In Enugu, the Hausas, Malams, and marketers brought out their AK-47, and both soldiers and policemen and government officials ran for their lives. In Enugu, it was reported online. Thus, officials of the government in Igbo land ran for their lives in Igbo territory. And they are calling for minorities. The senator representing Niger State in the Senate told his colleagues that that day, Boko Haram has occupied certain villages and towns in the state and hosted their flags. A video clip currently trending online shows a large number of bandits in in-laws vehicle brandishing high caliber guns and machine guns blocking the road. On the video, they don't see these people. All they see is the minority. At the same time, the Nigerian army is complaining of not having arms to fight, and in recent time the army had been suffering setback in the battlefield in their engagement with the Boko Haram. The space of attack in the southwest and southeast is now assuming alarming rate almost on daily basis. Ibadan Ijebu Road is now a stronghold of terrorists. So also is Ipe Ijebu Ode Benin Expressway, among other roads. But is not talking about this. He's not seeing this one. He's only seeing the minorities. A governor in the east tried to call the president to inform him of an attack against his people. He was on hold for hours. The head of the army would not take order from him until the Fulani headmen attack tourist struck. As soon as they finished their operation, the same army that was waiting for order from above to act suddenly mobilized to prevent the people from revenge. I can go on and on with cases like this in our nation today. During the lockdown, several well-kitted young men moving from north to south were apprehended in Dagote truck at a time when the whole nation was supposed to be on a lockdown and no movement. They were said to be Amanjaris, but they could not be because they were neat and well kept and dressed. Some indigents of Ogun State in the Iyawa South local government have complained of persistent attack by herdsmen, and many have relocated to Benin Republic. Meanwhile, the attack have not ceased. 2 days ago, a couple was killed in Ogun, in Obasanjo's home state. He says nothing about it, but he's talking about the minority. What do all this sum up to? There are two dangers that people often fall into, and most Nigerians, especially Christians, Nigerians, are falling into this trap. The first danger is to rely solely on our mind and base all decisions on the mind. The second, which is far worse, is not use it's not use the mind at all. The first elevate reasons to the apogee of a god. The second spiritualize everything and ignore the power of reasoning and logic. Every time it calls for prayer, God, and make nothing about the mind. The power of reasoning and logic and the importance of the imagination. It sees only God and never sees man as important. True, Jesus called us to pray, but he also asked us to watch, and you cannot watch without the engagement of the life of the mind. The church in this nature has already fallen into error, and soon she will learn the consequences. I think this is a very wonderful write-up by this Idu. Warning and revelation. In the last few days, the social media has been awash with terrible revelation, dreams and visions from different individuals of invasion of the southwest and southeast by well-armed militia of the Hausa Fulani and even foreigners, and the antecedent massacre. Several of these have been sent to me personally. The two boy told me even when he saw and kept this to himself. This curious thing about all this is the unanimity and coherence of the messages, despite the fact that these people never meant to align what they will say. We know, or ought to know, that the witness of two or more people is true even in a court of law, and that in the mouth of two or three every word shall be established. We also know that when the Spirit is speaking expressly and through different mediums, it is a proof that the event being indicated is imminent. Today, unless God intervenes, evil is intended against many. There is a spirit of wisdom which tells you what is coming. There is a spirit of understanding which tells you what to do about what is coming. There is a spirit of counsel and fear of God which tells you how to do it. This is where the ministry and office of the apostle is required. There is There is now confusion and lack of coherence in the church in Nigeria. Some are even in the denial of the subject reality that is ahead of them and what is planned against them. Many even among the leaders of the church at this time don't even know what is ahead and what to do and how to do it. For there must be envy and dimension among you, so that those who are approved among you may be known. After this crisis, your eye will see your teachers, and you will know who is who. To avert this coming massacre, there is delusion everywhere. There is self-deceit based on presumption. Many Yorubas are agitating for an Oduduwa Republic. Many Igbos are doing the same for Biafra. That may not be bad in themselves. What is bad is over-assumption and utter presumption and reliance on external forces. We know how American gypped itself from the British Empire in the 18th century and the critical role played by the People's Militia. We also know how to rescue their homeland from the British mandate by fire, by thunder. Again, the role of the militia and the Jewish resistance in Palestine is clear. The role played by the people like Menachem Begin and its deadly Hugon movement, and the terror is struck in the heart of both the British and the Arab as well, hastened Israelis' independence. The mysterious way that moment brought down King David Hotel, killing all the foreign guests and lodgers, will remain a wonder in the annals of the liberation movement. Today, Israel is in our homeland. The Yoruba too say they want a nation of their own, and I ask them, where is your own militia? Where is your own standing force and liberation movement? Just in case, how many AK-47 do you have? They have none. They have no fighting force, no standing army, no militia, no weapon, nothing. Just plenty of grammar and speeches. They are waiting for America. They are waiting for United Nations to save them. They are praying. Thus, if a battalion of Boko Haram fighter back up Iswa, Arab fighter, enter a city of the southwest today, nothing will stop them. And with an army that is anything but natural, you know the answer. Nothing today stops a massacre in any of the southwest state, bearing the mercy of God. But mercy of God is not adverse to counter. Measures and the mercy of God does not extricate from consequences as a result of disobedience to actual prophetic warning and apostolic counsel. Soon you will find out these lines costing me house every day will testify and even bear witness to future generation that you were warned. Somebody is playing with fire. Someone is playing with the life of his people. America will come here, neither will United Nations, mark my words. Many of you Satanists don't know how the world works. With the Arab lobby in UN, which is in majority, and the Fulani woman as Deputy General Secretary, there will never be a UN intervention here in favor of the indigenous communities. The black people of Mauritania, what happened to them? They were exterminated. What happened in Senegal against blacks? What of Darfur region in Sudan? Did the UN do it? Do in all this to avert them? The French force were not far from Rwanda. They could have stopped the genocide if they wish, and if the UN wishes. But did they? The white do not mind if black are exterminated. And you think they would intervene here under the New World Order? Soon you will find out. Only 3 factors or 4 can save the Southerners in this nation from witnessing a major massacre soon in their cities. 1. General repentance of churches, humbling of Christians, and heartfelt prayer to heaven. Listen and pay attention. There are men of wisdom in your midst, apostle, but you won't hear them. If Nigeria and the church had listened and taken even some of the advice given by us as far as ago 2021, we would not be here. The wise will understand. In 2012, I wrote an article, Nigeria needs repentance, not prayer. As usual, none of the newspaper published it. Thank God for social media. Someone like me would have stopped writing for long. Today, evil has permitted every structure of society, including the church. As a matter of fact, the level of debauchery and abomination going on in our churches today, the witchcraft, strange gods, etc. in the churches today, cries for judgment. Many have made covenants with her. Many have taken power from the occult. Multiplied, many have compromised themselves and prostituted their calling among the leaders of the church. How are all these can be repented of within the short time remaining to avert judgment is the issue. Because repentance involves restitution, and for many that would end their ministry and their crowd, which they would rather die than surrender. So I don't know whether the kind of repentance that would hold back the hand of God is even possible again now. The abomination is serious, such more than you think. The sin of Manasseh cannot be forgiven. They must be judged. And many pastors now are involved in that sin. Number 2, a pan-Satan interdenominational Christian front and prayers. Never discontinues the power of prayer if all the churches, even as fallen as they are, would one Sunday across all certain states cry to God sincerely and humble themselves. God can turn the evil away. Even Arab, when he humbled himself before God and fast, God changed the way. Number 3, a well-catered, battle-ready people, militia across all certain states, backed by a united Satan front. Okay, so this is what came out from this brother. I want to say, guys, the South should stop this idea. You know, when you come from Nigeria like this, you start having a lot of things. They start to stop this idea of minority against majority. Nigeria will not survive. Nigeria will not develop if this mindset continues among the people. Thank you, guys. I'm going to see you later in the day, if God permits. So we're going to talk more on 10 intriguing headlines of our president, Muhammadu Buhari, before he became the president of Nigeria. So you will see, we can put it together to see if actually what is happening today has been pre-planned by the Hausa Fulanis and his stooge in the South. Thank you all. God bless you, Choice, and every one of you here today. A very big thank you to you guys. See you again later in the evening. Have a blessed day, and bye for now.